She is perhaps the most iconic ghost from the entire series, and I know there are certain people out there who would argue she most definitely is. But either way, when you think of the Fatal Frame big bads, she's definitely up there. Kurosawa Sae, the girl in the bloody white kimono. This week, let's dig into some facts about our favourite evil twin. 1. Sae is 15 years old when her failed Crimson Sacrifice ritual takes place. While we don't know her exact date of birth, thanks to all those timeline videos we did, we can assume it was somewhere around 1895, give or take a few years. 2. Because of how the Crimson Sacrifice ritual works in Minakami Village, we know that Sae was born first, and her twin sister Yae was born second. For most of the world, that would make Sae the older sister. However, due to Minakami's unique beliefs that view the stronger and therefore the elder twin, allowing the weaker, younger twin to be born first, Sae was considered the younger twin. 3. Sae's last name, Kurosawa, uses the characters for black and swamp. As we know, this is an important surname in Fatal Frame lore, as these people are said to be close to the other side. They are the people that protect this world from that one, envisioned to basically be a black swamp. She isn't, however, related to Kurosawa Dei from 3, or Hisoka or Ose from 5. 4. Sae's first name uses the characters for silk and heavy, although perhaps a better reading of the second character in her name would be something along the lines of heavy responsibility, a serious or grave event, etc. Of course, this ties into her role in the game, where she feels she must shoulder the heavy burden of completing the ritual so that nobody else has to suffer. Another reading of the same character, however, can mean a secondary or supporting role, and she was considered the younger sister, so make of that what you will. 5. In the original game, Sae is voiced by Kawasumi Ayako, who also voiced Amakura Mayu. Similarly, both Mayu and Sae are voiced in English by Kim Mai Guest, who you may remember also voiced Miku in Fatal Frame 3. Kawasumi also voiced Sae for the remake, Deep Crimson Butterfly, as it's rather uncommon to change voice actors in Japan if said voice actor is still working. In English, however, she was voiced by Patricia Gannon in the remake. 6. Similar to Kirie in the first game, Sae's ghost is also so powerful that if she manages to touch you, it generally means instant death. However, unlike Kirie, Sae oddly isn't the final boss of the game for the canon ending. While you can battle her, it's only available in hard mode on PS2, and that leads to the non-canon Hellish Abyss ending. 7. And again, similar to Kirie, Sae can generally be seen in 2 different forms throughout the game, although the difference isn't quite as large as Kirie's older and younger versions. Instead, Sae can be seen in her vengeful spirit form, with her bloody kimono and evil laughter, and a more normal, sad form, referred to, just like Kirie's younger form, as white kimono. 8. On that note, it's interesting to note that Sae wears her kimono with the right draped over the left, which is something only done for the deceased. Basically, it's burial style. If you are still alive and breathing, then your kimono should be worn left over right. So, not that there should be any confusion, but knowing this, you can tell at a glance that Sae is dead. 9. Throughout the game, we can find 6 notes from the Butterfly Diary, which was a joint diary shared by Sae and Yae. In it, they share their thoughts leading up to the Crimson Sacrifice ritual. Sae notes how Makabe took a picture of her with his camera obscura, and how her face looked strange in it. But she knows he's going to be sacrificed soon, so she wants to help him escape. All that matters to her is becoming one with Yae. Throughout each entry, Sae details how the only thing she wants is to carry out the ritual with Yae, so nobody else has to suffer, and how scared she is of being alone without her. 10. Much of the conflict leading up to the repentance is, on that note, because of Sae and Yae's opposing views on the ritual they're soon supposed to carry out. While Sae wanted nothing more than to go through with it, so that she would forever be with her sister thereafter, and nobody else would have to suffer. In her view, Yae felt the opposite. She felt the ritual itself was simply cruel and unnecessary. She didn't agree with twins having their lives cut short. Fundamentally, neither twin wanted to leave the other, but they viewed the upcoming ritual in drastically different ways because of that. 11. Because she didn't want anyone else to suffer, Sae stayed true to her word and did try to help Makabe escape. However, he had other ideas, and was actually intrigued by the idea of becoming a sacrifice, because it meant he would finally see the hellish abyss with his own two eyes. However, by warning Makabe, this allowed him to send his apprentice, Ryozo, away, saving him. An act that would, in a way, come back to bite Sae in the backside. 12. Despite Sae wanting to carry out the ritual, we do see her try to leave with Yae when Itsuki helps the girls to escape. At the end of the day, all she really wanted was to be with her sister. But as they're fleeing, it hits her that if they both survive, the girls are going to be separated anyway. They will grow up, presumably get married, and have families of their own. And it's that thought weighing on her mind that causes her to trip, and causes Yae to actually leave her for good, as she keeps running and never turns back. 13. The final moments of Sae's life were spent in deep regret. Regret that she tried to escape with Yae, because now they actually were separated. Regret that Itsuki was captured for his part in their escape, and him taking his own life over it. Regret that she was going to be forced to carry out the ritual alone, and the strong likelihood she wouldn't be able to turn into a crimson butterfly without her sister there with her. And we all know how that went. 14. Interestingly, Sae and Yae both ended up sharing very similar deaths. When the time for the Crimson Sacrifice ritual came, Sae was hung by the priests on the last shrine gate inside the Hellish Abyss. Yae also died by hanging, although her death took place much later at the Himuro mansion, and was largely in response to her daughter apparently going missing, and the effect the camera obscura was having on her state of mind at the time. 15. Just as she feared, Sae was unable to become a crimson butterfly. Instead, the Hellish Abyss erupted with darkness, unsatisfied that the ritual wasn't correctly carried out, and the repentance occurred. And so, rather than turning into a crimson butterfly, Sae was turned into a vengeful spirit. It's interesting to note that rather than gaining a crimson butterfly mark around her neck, which would have happened to her sister if the ritual had been carried out correctly, Sae instead sports a regular rope mark from her hanging. 16. Sae is involved in 4 different endings. The canon ending, Crimson Butterfly, seems Mio and Mayu successfully carry out the ritual, and in turn, this satisfies Sae's spirit, as she was hoping to do the same with her own sister. In the Lingering Scent ending, Sae chases Mio and, when she grabs her, she wakes up alone. It's implied that Sae has successfully possessed Mayu at this point, and now they have Mio forever. In the Hellish Abyss ending, Mio defeats Sae with the camera obscura and forces her out of Mayu. Sae plunges into the Hellish Abyss and is, presumably, never seen again. And in the Xbox exclusive Promise ending, the spirits of Sae and Yae are separated from Mio and Mayu, and together they become a crimson butterfly, ending the curse's hold over Minakami Village. 17. Shibata has spoken about how at least part of his idea for Sae came from an episode of sleep paralysis he once experienced. While he was paralyzed in bed, he heard someone opening the door to the room next to his, followed by a small voice saying, "No one's here." Then the door to his own room opened, but nobody was there. The experience was so frightening that he kept note of it and used that experience when planning Sae and her actions throughout the game. 18. The devs also spoke about how Sae's sole purpose in life was basically to be killed by Yae. She was raised with that goal in mind, and she fully accepted it. In fact, she didn't just accept it, it was her entire reason for being. She was truly happy to flee with her, but when she realized what that meant, that they would then grow old and grow apart, it was too much for her to bear. From the very depths of her soul, she wanted Yae to be the one to kill her. And when she didn't, she was filled with both hatred and a longing for her to return to fulfill her one wish, carry out the ritual as intended. 19. Sae makes a brief appearance in Kei's dreams in Fatal Frame 3, but, more recently, she also appeared in the crossover event in the mobile game Identity V. She can be found as a costume for the hunter Geisha. 20. And finally, if you're wondering what sort of dessert might represent Sae best, at the 2019 Koei Tecmo Cafe, themed around Fatal Frame, you could purchase the Kurosawa Sae's strawberry yogurt. And just by looking at it, I'm sure you can imagine why. And that is 20 facts about Kurosawa Sae, the main antagonist from Fatal Frame 2. But what did you guys think of this one? Are there any other characters or games you'd like me to explore? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you again next time.